I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast, and we're in the decision making algorithm area. And so I think in the past we've talked about different factors in a decision. So there's factors in a decision. So when we make decisions in life, it doesn't matter if it's a stick of gum or if it's, getting married, having kids, going on vacation, a job, whatever. So, and it's very important that you all interact with me. So So now, we've been through, I don't know, three, four of these here. So it's very important that you interact with me on this because so if we have four factors in a decision, so should I eat this ice cream or should I not? So there's a decision making. Like I want to go ahead and, so I want to feel good. I want to feel good. I like the taste of ice cream. And so Alvin Miller and I were talking, and we were talking about alcohol. And his perspective, from what I understand, is it's actually a good thing to drink it once in a while. Maybe I'm misrepresenting him. I don't know, but I think it is. And so he doesn't see anything wrong with drinking it once in a while, which I didn't debate that. And but I said something about like every addiction is entitlement. The root of every addiction comes to entitlement. So I went ahead and stopped eating ice cream um, for I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Wouldn't eat any ice cream because I felt I was addicted to it. And so in decision making, there's different factors. So you have the past, you have the present, you have the short term, you have the future. So you have these different factors. So the case study that we're looking at now, the case study is the reason we're using this case study is because we can. And so there's different factors. And so in leadership, I go ahead and, should like whether it's my kids, my wife, people I'm leading, like when do you let them make the decision and when do you make the decision for them? Like that's not black and white. It's not easy. Kids are growing up. So the decision they can't make yesterday, they could make, tomorrow. And so, but what factors are in there? And so for me in leadership is will the person take ownership of that decision? If they can't take ownership, they're not ready to take the decision. They're not ready to make the decision. They don't have the maturity. So it's not whether you should delegate something to somebody based on are they going to make the right decision? Because we don't make the right decision. We make mistakes. So it's not that, it's can they own it? Ideally, can they clean up after themselves? Like, can they clean up their mess that they make if they make the decision? But if they're not going to own it, then they won't learn from it. And so I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's complicated. This one here is not anything like that. I don't know what the answer is on this decision. Like, I don't know what the right answer is. So the case study here is an appointment for me to go out today to talk to a client about, present the book to him and all that kind of stuff. So, um, so what are the factors in that decision?
One would be, is it beneficial for you to do it versus somebody else?
So Nora
Or
and
like,
I are
I shouldn't
so Nora and I are
go ahead.
going out. So she's going to meet me out there. So it's a new client of hers. So she and I are going to meet out there. So what's the number one? What's the number one most important factor above everything? It's the same type of decision making. Everyone who works on our property, it's first thing they work on our property. I welcome them, and I go ahead and say to them what? It's the same thing for It's the same thing for when people have events at our property. This is always number one, everything.
The experience?
No, more important than that. Far more important than that.
Safety.
It's safety. It's the number one thing. Because when I was 9 years old, I went ahead and went fishing. Well, I asked my dad to go fishing, and then you guys know the story about the little girl, and she was 5 and everything like that. I don't know if you know, some of you may, some of you don't, but the camp director, he had I don't know, a 2, 3 year old son who wandered down from the house and fell into the very lake that I fished in. I didn't know the parents. I did not know the parents, and I did not know the little boy. But I remember as a 9 year old boy hearing about this little 2, 3 year old boy that went ahead and drowned. From that point on, as a 9 year old, I just hurt. I hurt for I hurt for the parents like crazy. I just hurt. Oh, the pain that I had was just extreme. And I've always had that. From that point on, I had empathy for that family. And I said, that's just got to be terrible. They'll never, ever escape that. It will always be present with them. And then whenever they walk down, and so as a 9 year old boy, I don't know, I never drowned, never knew anybody else that drowned. So I had no experience, but somehow I felt that. And we almost didn't buy the property here because of that reason. Because we have grandkids, and I'm like, I can't even imagine if somebody drowned on our property and there's a river and there's a pond. And it's like, eh. And so number one is safety. And number one, the most important safety is always children to me because they're the most vulnerable. Number two is going to be women. There's a responsibility I have to women and children as a man to protect them and have safety. So we're going out on a business appointment. So the number one is in this situation is Nora and her safety. So that's the number one. It's above everything. Now, physical safety, I don't want any harm to come from her. But then there's also moral safety. And, so the guy's married and, so I'm not worried about temptation. I'm just like, are people going to talk? Is it going to be? And so it's in the Amish community, and the Amish are more free in men being with women than I was brought up. So I do travel in the car with women if it's just me and another woman, but I try to avoid that as much as possible. I mean, with my daughters, it's not a problem, obviously, that's no problem. And friends, and so, but I don't know, it's just kind of how I was raised. So you have the physical safety, that's the most important. And then you have, okay, what do people think? Not that I care what people think. I don't. It's just, it can hurt a woman much more than a man, big time. So I need to think about that. And so then after that, then what's the next thing? What's the next important thing for me? And Katie, if you need to go, you can. So what's the next thing after physical safety and then moral and then, reputational or whatever? What comes after that in the decision making for me? That's what
Not
Nora,
sure.
it's what Nora said. It's the experience. It's the client experience. Like I want to give the client an amazing experience. Now, in this situation, I don't like going out and talking to people in person. I just don't, for multiple reasons. I just don't. I hate it. But it's not about me. It is not about me at all. It's like I am the least on the totem pole. Like we went to Joy Club, they called it when we were growing up as kids. And, so Christian, and so it's Jesus first, others next, and yourself last. I internalized that as a boy. Like that makes sense. Like you put yourself last. Like you just do. Like that's just best for you. It's not, you're not putting yourself last because you're this super spiritual person. You're just putting yourself last because that's what's best for you. It just makes sense to me. As a boy, I'm like, that makes sense to me. So this, I think, is going into internalization here. How does Mark internalize something as a 9-year-old boy and it really goes ahead? I mean, it really shook him up. Like I felt the pain of the mom, like how much guilt he had. Like, and then whoever was watching him, was it the mom? Was it the dad? Was it somebody else? I don't know the stories, don't know the people, but I just put myself in there, everybody's situation. I said, it's just a tragedy. The amount of pain and suffering is just insane. So from that point on, I said, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do everything I can to never have that happen around me. And it hasn't, but it could. I can let my guard down. So I don't know why. I don't know why I internalized so much as a boy and as a man still today. Like it's the same thing. But it's like it makes sense. It's not because you put yourself last, because when you put yourself last, then you grow and you change. And, I'm not going to say people like you because that's not been my experience. But anyways, and so the experience for the client. And after that, my next consideration is Nora. So she's newer in sales. She's very capable. She could do it on her own, but maybe, she needs me to do this. And so my next consideration is her. Now, it's 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, that might be a little tight, but it's okay. But now it's 41 minutes. And so it's 11 minutes longer and it's two ways, so 22 minutes. But I got an extra, 20, 30 hours of free time a week. But that's why I have an extra, like, is because of that. So now I'm in a quandary. Now I don't know what to do because I could see how Nora doing it. She's fully capable. I think she's safe. I think everything's good. Reputation. I think everything's good there. But am I just being selfish? Am I just saying, well, Mark, you don't want to do the 41 minutes both ways. You don't like doing in person anyways. It's not the most efficient. So am I tricking my mind? Am I tricking my mind to go ahead and convince myself that Nora is capable when I'm really being selfish? Now, this is something you all are very familiar with, right? This way of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Moms tend to have an advantage on that. Wives and moms tend to have an advantage on that because, that's what they do, for kids, for their kids and for their husband. It's just kind of weird. And um, so, so then what do I do in the decision making, in the decision making model? Like, I don't know what to do. Now, if I go ahead and dish the decision over to Nora to do, should I dish the decision over to Nora? So if I dish the decision over to Nora, what decision is she going to make? Most likely.
I'll just do it myself.
Right. Like that's what she's going to do. So, people once in a while, shocking to all of you, I'm sure, people once in a while will go ahead and say, Mark, you overthink things. And I'll say, do you know why? They're like, no, why? I said, because I can. Then I smile. Then I walk away. Then they wait a minute. What did he just say? Was he saying I'm stupid. I didn't say that. I just said I can't. So the process of going through these exercises, you know, Nora's training for a marathon. And so you got to train in life. You're training for decision making. This is not that big a deal. Like either way we go, it's going to be fine. Like it's fine. And so it's the point. I'm not making a bigger deal of this. What I'm doing is looking at it, breaking it down, and say when you're in these. So you consider these things. And so I'm very cynical and skeptical when I come to a conclusion that I like. If I like the conclusion, I go back and do a second check and say, Mark, are you really making the decision you like? Or, um, is this really the best decision? Questions?
No.
Thoughts? Oh, um, so Elaine,
Yes, Mark.
I mean, what should we do? See,
Well,
when
most
it's
generally we
go
don't
ahead.
send women up, but most generally we don't send women out by themselves. So
Right.
if she does go, then there should be somebody else that goes with her. She shouldn't go by herself. So there's
And,
that to,
oh, for
consider.
sure. Yeah,
Um,
for safety and for otherwise. So for reputation,
right.
safety and reputation for everybody involved. Yeah.
Um, Still thinking on some of the others.
So then what you do is you have, the walls of opportunity over, under, to left, to right, blow it up, tear it down some way, somehow you make a breakthrough, bigger wall, thicker wall, the harder it is to make a breakthrough. So then, so there other options that are available. And so, so are there other options that are available? And so, Anita, are you available today at, I don't know, 1:30 to 3:30?
Let me check my calendar.
So
Yeah, I
again,
think so.
okay, so again, you look at all the possibilities. And so you say, is that the best decision? Is that the best decision? And so, I mean, in the end, probably what am I going to decide?
You just going?
Interesting.
Okay.
Nora,
Why?
what do you think in the end? What do you think I'm going to go ahead and do in this situation?
Is this the same situation that where a husband doesn't know where to take his wife for dinner? He'll say, guess where I'm taking you tonight for dinner? And then she says where she guesses, and then he's like, oh my gosh, how did you know? And then like because he didn't even know, but because that's where she obviously wants to go, so then he's just gonna take her there and pretend like it was his idea. Is that similar to where if we all say like this is what we think you're gonna do, then you just do that, or like
Oh, see, well, but that wouldn't work, right? If Elaine came up with one, if Elaine came up with one path and you came up with another, then that strategy wouldn't work, right?
right, but if we all came up with the same one, it would.
Yeah, if you came up with the same one, it would. Yes.
Right. So you're going around and seeing what everybody thinks, and then you're going to base your decision off of what we think, and you're going to say, well, that's the best decision. And so there, you don't have to decide. You get us to decide without us realizing that we're deciding for you.
what's frightening is
Wouldn't that work even the other way? Even if we did have this different decisions, he could just say, "Well, how did you know, Nora, that that was going to be my decision?" Or "How
Well,
did
that's
you
why
know?"
I'm
And
not gonna say, because like I don't want to make the decision for him because I don't care.
well, but the thing is, the decision isn't really my decision, though. I mean, this isn't the PB church, so it's not the PB church, so, but
well, I think you have the most. I think you have the most knowledge and the most wisdom on it. So in the end, may not be necessarily your decision, but you have the most. Yeah, you have the most of what we need to understand things.
what do you think about that, Nora?
Well, then you should have made the decision yesterday already, without having me make the decision.
On this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have you got to have all the factors in the decision. I didn't have all the data yesterday. So the data's changed today. So I have new data that I didn't have yesterday.
And what's that?
The 11 extra minutes. So if I go, that the ripple effect of that could be massive, because there's the appointment that I'm either going to need to be on the road or something.
I'll
Because
just go by myself. His wife is always there anyways.
so one of the things that Nora's working on is patience. it's the
I
it's the
wouldn't have to have so much if other people had less, apparently. That's what I hear.
right. Or if in classroom exercises and case studies, if you went ahead and had more patients there, well, then maybe you could make better decisions, like, and faster decisions, and you would have less patience. You wouldn't have to have as much patience if you went ahead and did the case study well. And so my kids, when they were growing up, they came to me, and they were, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old, maybe 14, 12 to 14. And they said, "Hey, Dad, can I go over to, a friend's house?" And I didn't know this friend. Like, I didn't know who it was. They weren't close friends of our family. So what did I do?
Ask a bunch of questions.
I asked a bunch of questions. That's exactly what I did. And what did the kids do?
I mean, looking at mine, they would get angry with me or just say, "Fine, I don't have to go," that type of thing.
Yeah, they'd go like, "Really, Dad? Like, why can't you just trust me?" Like, they'd go all whatever. I'm not saying adults are like that, but I'm saying my kids were like, "Really, Dad?" I'm like, "Why can't you just trust me?" I said, "Okay, well, I can trust you. But you have to understand all of the factors in the decision making." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "See, you need to ask all these questions. The questions aren't for me and my safety, they're for you." So we literally built a system and said, "This is the decision making." I know you guys are shocked and say, "Holy cow." Um, then others might say, "Did it work?" And doesn't seem like it did. And so you need to ask the questions, you need to go through. So the process, so I learned this when I was out in Hershey, Pennsylvania, with my grandson Daniel when he was like 5 years old, maybe 3 or 4, 3 to 5. And we went ahead and went to the Hershey Museum, and I don't know, whatever. And you could go in and do a Hershey taste testing and testing of chocolate. And it was $35 a person. Being, Dutch and Boersma, obviously I thought, that's $70 for two people. Is he going to remember that? And I bit the bullet and we went in. I don't know that he does remember it, but I do. It was so fun. Like we took the chocolate and we broke it, like we touched it, and then we broke it and listened to the chocolate, and then we felt the chocolate. Like it gave me a whole new experience. Nora, you've probably never been out to Hershey, Pennsylvania and gone through that, have you?
No.
We ought to replicate that. We could replicate that experience. That would be really cool to see you and Lincoln go through that. So, so I think that a lot of times, like kids don't understand all the factors in making a decision that a parent makes. Kids don't understand like kids don't understand their parents want them to make the decision without the parent because the parent knows someday they're going to have to. But if a parent allows a child to make a decision before they should, it can literally be life threatening. Or, like it can't. Like it's crazy what can happen. And so if that's true with children and parents, what else is it true? Employee and employer. Young versus old. Man versus woman. Woman versus man. And so there's a lot of factors. And so I don't know, the more things you have going in your life, the more people, the more businesses, the more the more you're blessed to steward, the more it's overwhelming. It's just absolutely overwhelming. And so did I know that if I strung it out long enough, Nora would lose her patience, say, fine, I'll just go myself. I did. I knew that. I did. Anita, your thoughts or questions?
I can go with her.
Does anybody know what Nora is thinking right now? At a subconscious level.
Please do tell. I know what I'm thinking at a conscious level. Tell me what I'm thinking at a subconscious
level too. So at a subconscious level, she's thinking, on a friendship level, I am a 10 with Mark. Like that guy, man, he is such a caring and considerate and I love these morning meetings and I'm so glad this is recorded and I just adore him. That's what she's thinking on a subconscious level. Elaine and Anita, are either of you able to read Nora's subconscious or not?
No,
Nah, I don't think I am.
Okay.
I don't make a practice of trying to do that.
Okay. Yeah. No. As a dad, as a owner of a company and serving clients and team members, I have to do that to be good at what I do. I have to be good at reading people's subconscious. It's crazy. I'd prefer not, but my goal is to get them to read it. At a conscious level, I know what she's thinking too.
What is that?
Well, there's also semi-conscious. So she's not going to go ahead and tell me what she's thinking because she's going to be like, you'll switch it. No, I won't switch it. So there's multiple things. One of the things that she's thinking on a conscious or semi-conscious level is, man, this guy irritates me. Just,
And then he's laughing on top of it.
but he can because I'm not crying. So as long as I'm not crying, he can laugh.
Actually, what I'm
and
thinking, go ahead.
yeah,
What else am I
no, go
thinking?
ahead.
No, go ahead.
So
Because
and
so
and
far I've been interesting about my thoughts that
and
I
then
didn't
and then
have.
it's like then on a semi-conscious, it's not way deep down, but it's she's like, this guy, like, he is a worthy opponent. Like, he knows, like, if I irritate him, he's gonna irritate me more. Like like he has this way to just all right, go ahead.
Actually, what I was thinking was we just wasted 40 some minutes, or spent, not wasted. We just spent 40 some minutes talking about something that could have been a decision we could have made in 2 to 3 minutes.
So interesting, fascinating. I can see that. I can see that. And so she flips into her driver expressive. She's very double analytic, like crazy, big time, crazy, crazy. But at a certain point, she flips into her driver or expressive. So what is she missing? A lot. I mean, she did catch herself where she said wasted, and she caught herself and flipped it over to spent. I would say invested. But is it a good investment? Well, if people internalize it, it's a great investment. It's the best 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever it took us. It's the best time we could have spent. And so, what are some things that she could have learned that she probably didn't learn? Really? None of you picked it up? I'm not surprised. Go ahead, Elaine.
I was gonna say make sure that there's like the first contact you have all the info that you need or data that you need.
Right? That's a great lesson. Like, I like driving, so I can drive, it's totally okay. Like, I don't mind driving, 50 minutes to pick up, a laminated sheet when I could have just had some at my house and saved me 50 minutes. I enjoy being in the car. So I just enjoy that. It's like relaxation. It's like therapy. It's like Mark reading the Wall Street Journal. Like, it's fine. So yes, have all the data on the upfront to make the decision, not the data for Nora, but the data for her customers, the people that she works with, the people she's around. I've got to consider all of those too. Good. What else could have she learned that she may not have learned? And she might even resist learning. Like, that's not true. That's not true. Okay, so here are some pieces. Men are wired to think about and consider, consider things that women aren't wired to consider. They're just wired to that. It's just how they're programmed. They just are. Like, women are wired for certain things, and yes, this can be bad, but it can also be really, really good. Women will really like this and they really hate it. They want it, but they don't. And so it's not easy being a man. It's just not. Like, it's just not. I'm not saying it's easy being a woman. I'm not saying it's easier being a woman than a man. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that to consider the opposite gender, we need to go ahead. Like I thought when I was 9 years old, I've been doing this a while. This is not my first rodeo. When I was 9 years old, I thought about a mom and the pain that she would go through because she felt responsible for her son's death because she wasn't paying attention. I thought about that as a 9-year-old. So, as a leader, when you're developing people, it's not easy. Like, give the leader a little bit of leeway. You want them to trust you, but do you trust them? Like, it's not black and white. It's a lot more complicated. You haven't been where they've been. They've been where you've been, just like a child, a parent. Like Nora's never been a 3-year-old boy, but she's been a 3-year-old girl. So she has more understanding of Lincoln than Lincoln has of her. So if that's true, well, then she can say Mark has more life experience than I do. And so, like, give the guy some room because he's having to make hard decisions and there's a lot of factors involved. It's not black and white. And appreciate the work he does for me and for everybody else around me. And he's trying to do the best he can. And maybe he fails. He's willing to say that, but it's not clear when he does. It's not clear when he's right and wrong. It's just not. Nor is it clear when I'm right or wrong. And maybe both are right. Either way is right. Or maybe both are wrong. Like all of those things she could have picked up in this time. So, what decision do you think I would make? You can't say after I say it, oh, that's what I thought you were. That's what my wife does. I hate when women do that. They like you give them an opportunity to speak, they don't speak, and then you say, I knew you were going to say it. No, you didn't. You didn't know, or you didn't have courage. So if you say, I knew you were going to say that, well, that just reveals your position. You don't have courage. You don't have confidence. You just don't, which is fine. Just know what you're doing. So the decision I'm going to make is I'm going to go ahead and take something from somebody that shared with me. They're adults. Let them make the decision. So the three of you get to make the decision. And because, you're all equal, one doesn't have authority over the other. In the end, because Nora's the one traveling, the one doing it is her client and she's traveling. In the end, she gets to make the decision, but all three of you do, and you guys can do whatever you want to do. The three of you, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. And so for people who are used to not caring, that's an easy decision to make. Like, make whatever decision you make, because when people don't care, they don't have to take ownership. Like whatever happens. Like it is whatever it is. For people who have cared for 62 years, not caring is a new thing for them. So that's a hard decision. This is not that hard, but the principle of the decision is hard. Because I understand the ramifications of what can happen, because the next time this happens, somebody can say, well, Mark went ahead and allowed this to happen. This is the general rule. This is protocol that we had. And Mark said it was okay. I didn't say it was okay. I said, it's you guys' decision. So each person needs to make a decision. And in Stan's, I don't know if you guys picked it up in Stan's decision-making model, it was really good. He was really, really good, but I'm guessing nobody caught it because they don't understand artistry. They don't understand what it is. And it's like, so you've got to anticipate what kind of a decision you're making when you're giving somebody the authority, when you're abducting, you're just saying, hey, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, you do. You're making a decision. And if you don't anticipate what the decision is of the people that you're giving the decision making to, well, then you bear some responsibility for whatever the consequences are. So it's a lot more complicated, but most people are just simple minded. And maybe if that's what God created them to be, like it's fine. Like it's totally fine. If God created somebody to be a dumb squirrel, it's fine. Just be a dumb squirrel. It's fine. But those are people that can hurt themselves, and not only hurt themselves, but hurt people around them. So, any questions, ladies, that you have? So this went on a lot longer than I thought it would. Holy cow. But my hope is that it was worthwhile. Like that's like people, my kids, other people say, Mark, you're beating a dead horse. You know, am I? These practice runs, these things are the things that go ahead. And when you get into where you have to make a split-second decision, it's because you can make the right split-second decision because you practice well, you've thought through it well, to where you don't have the luxury that we have today to take the time we do today. And so it's good lesson. Elaine, anything else you got?
No.
Nor anything you got?
No.
Anita, anything you got?
Yeah, I had asked John and Mary if they want to talk
Sorry,
over.
on this topic here.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all. This was really good. Can't wait to see this one. People listen to this and walk away and what did I learn? And, should it be included in the live TPS? I don't know. It was pretty good from my perspective.